If you've been a longtime viewer of my channel, you've heard me yap about how I think Splatoon 2 is/was better than Splatoon 3, which is a pretty controversial opinion to hold, and typically one people get made fun of for having in this little hellhole we call the Splatoon community. So I wanted to try and articulate why I have this really unpopular opinion for the sole reason of, wow, I just had an idea for a Splatoon video that actually sounds like fun to make, that never happens anymore. I haven't had one of these in like a year. Comparing the current state of Splatoon 2 to the current state of Splatoon 3 isn't a fair competition. Nintendo didn't exactly do Splatoon 2 all that well in its last patch. The meta is pretty gross over there and has been since like early 2022, compared to Splatoon 3, which still has a few changes left to go through. What you need to look at is Splatoon 2's live service era, so 2017 through 2020, then compare that with Splatoon 3's between 2022 and now. It was a better time to be a Splatoon fan then than it is to be one now. Splatoon 2's updates were just more fun than Splatoon 3's, whereas 3's are predictable and progressively more and more boring with the content they provide. In the Splatoon 2 era, Nintendo would get a little silly every now and then and give us stuff like all 3 Tony Kensa collections. Nintendo kept us more engaged in 2 as well. It's been said to death before, but seriously, if you missed out on Splatoon 2 Splatfest, you actually missed out on the most special things that have ever happened in this series. Tricolor's cool and all when it gets lucky enough to get a map that works well with it, but man, it doesn't even come close to having a new map every single month for 2 years straight. MC Princess Diaries especially, honestly, I think using the killer whale for the first time in Splatoon 2 on that map's gotta be like a high-ranking top 10 moment of all time in the series. You really just had to be there for it. All that stuff's easy to talk about, but you really just can't fully grasp it unless you were there. Splatoon 2 during its update cycle was more than a game, it was an experience, and Splatoon 3 hasn't been able to match that. Its Splatfests are good, and with the addition of the square and the plaza to the game, plus the remix music to do with all the Splatfests, they're definitely prettier. And I'm a massive big fan of making content look as pretty as possible. It's one of the reasons Splatoon 2 Springfest is my favorite Splatfest, with Splatoon 3 Springfest coming with a close second. But 2's is always going to have the crown because that beauty wasn't just skin deep. 2's also gave us the stage bridge to Tenniswitchia, which a normal person should not be able to remember the name of one map that appeared in the game for 2 days over 5 years ago. It was one of the best Splatfest maps we got into, and almost every 2 Splatfest had a moment like this. I'm sure all my 2 veterans have a favorite shifty station. Seriously, you had to be there to just understand how amazing it was. It makes you remember really stupid details to really obscure things from like half a decade ago. 3 has not replicated that. There are more than just Splatfest that made 2 better though, in my opinion. Man, wouldn't getting a 3rd weapon kit for all the weapons be crazy? I know, right? It's never fully been done before in a Splatoon game, but which entry in the series actually tried to give us 3rd kits? Yeah, and all these weapon kits didn't suck total ass. During Splatoon 2, it was easy to shut down the opinions of people who wanted customizable kits over the idea of terrible balancing. Almost 2 years into Splatoon 3 now, it's a very popular and valid opinion to hold because the Splatoon 3 devs can't ever seem to come up with good weapon kits for the game that they make. This was rarely a problem in 2, and now we're more shocked if a weapon gets a decent kit rather than a terrible kit. The problems we have in Splatoon 3 are things we couldn't even comprehend having back in 2 because they were just too stupid to even think were possible. Changing the subject a bit, let's talk about map design. I'm not a pro player, so if you're looking for in-depth analysis on stage design, you're not going to find that here. Just like the rest of this video, this is my opinion. Splatoon 2 did not have good maps compared to Splatoon 1, but dear lord, most of 3's maps make 2's look like God's gift to man. And it's the fact we got more of them too. Splatoon 3 has more Splatoon 1 and 2 maps than it does unique Splatoon 3 maps. Splatoon 2 did not have that problem. There are some staple features from Splatoon 2 that I think are just better overall than 3's outside of its live service. One of them that stuck out in my head for a while, Nintendo picked a lane and stuck to it with style choices they made with 2's art design. You can tell you're somewhere in Inkopolis no matter what stage you're on. You are somewhere in the world that Nintendo made, versus 3, half the time it is totally justifiable to have zero clue where the hell you are. Is Brinewater Springs in Inkopolis or Splatsville? Where exactly is Ship-Shaped Cargo? Maybe we've got answers to this, but you're gonna have to dig through the lore to find that, and you also better hope that that lore is translated. If not, oh lordy, have fun with that. In Splatoon 2, they were able to make you feel like you knew where you were in the game's world while still putting you on maps that feel unique. You're never gonna think you're not in Inkopolis when you're on Starfish Main Stage or New Albacore Hotel. You're also not gonna be feeling like you're in the exact same place either. This goes for the DLC as well. Both of them have aesthetics they're trying to fit. Here's a challenge though. Try and find someone that prefers side orders over Octo expansions. Side order is fun, but like, that's gotta be the worst story we have ever gotten in a Splatoon campaign as well. I've been putting off making a video on side order's story for months, and I'm gonna continue to do that till I feel mentally prepared to deal with this game's absolutely stupid lore again. Meanwhile, Octo expansion story has actually gotta be some of the best storytelling we've gotten from Nintendo, which isn't a lot because Nintendo's focus isn't ever on story, but in terms of where that low bar is, Octo is pretty high up there, if not the highest. At the end of the day, this is all personal opinion stuff, and if you like 3 more than 2, that's totally fine. It's a video game. It really does not matter all that much. This is the Splatoon community though, so I'm sure we'll have far too many people spamming reasons why you're stupid for liking the older code slapped onto a piece of plastic over the newer code slapped on a piece of plastic, rather than saying, huh, I don't agree with this and this is why, but all that stuff is cool too. Maybe one day though, when all the 12-year-olds finally turn 13. That will be the day. Yeah, those are the reasons I preferred Splatoon 2 over 3. Let me know what you think and be civil about it. At the end of the day, we are all rooting for the same billion-dollar corporation to give us the best product possible. But anyways, gamers, that's it from me. See ya.